So in this lesson I'd like to talk about the effect where a bullet hits a protective shield of glass and breaks it through. I made it in Houdini and I wanted to try to render it with Unreal Engine, and I exported the Alembic files to Unreal and tried to gather everything in sequencer. So let me actually show how I made it. So here's the scene, and so I found a free version of the ballistic shield on the internet, and I made a few tweaks, resized it, and matched it to the center. Then I separated the glass of the shield. So I was kind of questioning myself, how would that kind of a strong protective shield glass could be broken, and I decided to separate it into three parts, whereas the side of the glass will shatter but won't break, and it will have bigger pieces, and the middle one will shatter as well, but eventually it will have some smaller pieces, and the very small pieces and that would explode, there would be in the center, whereas the bullet affects the most. And I used custom shattering geometry to shatter the glass pieces. The first thing that I've did is separating those three-part glass pieces, right? So here I'm having this simple sphere with some modification, some noise on it, smoothing, just to have the hole in it. And the second part, I just scale it a little bit and cut out the middle part. Okay, and here I'm using the third part to be shattered. Okay, so as a shatter, there's plenty of geometry. Let us see the result first. And whereas I go to wireframe mode, so you can see we have different patterns. So I used I copied the tube several times onto my line, which has a length of 0 and 5 points, so it kind of and I used the simple expression of adding a p-scale attribute into my points, and this way I have a ramp which creates this increasing scaling pattern onto my tubes, which has this noise attribute on it. So I matched it to the shield. Okay, and also add some noise for overall randomness. Okay, another one, I created those grid intersections. So here's again, I'm using the sphere and deleting a half of it. Okay, so let me actually see the sphere. Okay, it also has the 0 scale. I'm deleting a few points, yeah, that more than 25, it's some random value. And I also add normal, which has random distribution. Okay, next I'm copying all those grids onto my existing points. Okay, again I'm matching them both together, and if this way I'm creating a type of a shatter effect. Okay, next I'm using an exploded view node, which I'll use as the glass shatters. We'll see later on why I'm actually adding this node in here. Okay, so next piece is the middle part, which I also create. Okay, which I use the same technique actually, and here as well I have a circular pattern and a crossing pattern. Okay, but this time I'm using a little more points so I could have a denser point placement. Okay, and here I have smaller pieces instead of the side of the glass. Then some normals and the exploded view as well. Okay, just a small amount of separation of the glass. And here I have the central section, which I fuse, and then here I'm using point as the fracture center, I guess, and I'm doing some manipulations just to get the result what I want. In this case I haven't used some custom method. I found that this will serve the RBD material fracture will serve okay in this case for me. Okay, so so here I have and else you will have a quite heavy motion blur, so and this won't be that noticeable and it will be okay. So I decided to go with that. Alright, and then some normals and naming attribute and packing primitive. Here I'm converting all these pieces into points. Here I'm adding black color to all those points. Okay, and from that point itself, the center point, I'm copying a sphere with the red color applied to it. Then I'm transferring with some fading ramp, let's say, to have like to manipulate my velocity later on. Okay, so here I have very small value, and I want my force just to be higher in the center and decrease while being on the side of the main impact. Okay. So here I'm adding some up vectors and normals. Then I'm adding, so here I have my normals, and I'm adding noise to my normals. So I want them spread when the bullet hits it actually. Then I'm using the color value and multiplying to my normal, and here's my normal. As you see, it's bigger in the center while it fades off on the sides. Here I'm converting my normals to velocity, and I'm adding additional color to my particles. You will see now why. So here's we go into dynamics. A simple particle setup I used for the dynamics, and I add a spin attribute. So here you see I'm just using particles at frame 15. Okay, that's it. And here I'm using pop spin. A lot of cheating were applied in here, so I let's say if I turn this color off and I'd like to see the dynamics with the transform pieces. So after I add some dynamics to my particles, I'm copying my pieces onto those particles. Okay, so we just have a look, just from the side. You may notice that particles are spinning almost the same, which looks unnatural. Okay, so they're spinning the same speed, same direction. So what I did, I actually added this random color, which I use here as the random value. Okay, so I'm using this small expression to I'm adding as a multiplier the color, the random ID with some numbers. Yet again, I'm adding I'm multiplying by ID and also by the length of the velocity, which will come to whenever the speed is slower, they spin slower as well, and some drag spin as additional force to those particles. Okay, and this sort of cheating helps me to actually see the simulation. Okay, helps to speed up the process overall. Okay, then I'm converting them back to polygons and transferring my velocity to add a motion blur during my render session. Okay, and here I'm having I'm having my normal geometry, okay, and here's the fracture geometry. So as I said, I'm using this exploded view just to make those cracks visible, not during the render, but only but also physically shattered geometry, so it could stand out a little bit, as if you might see in all those heavy glasses that have the type of shattering pattern. And here I'm using the switch, whereas collision happens. Okay, so you see blast, and I see my other pieces are also deformed. Okay, and the last thing I did, I used the same method to add some debris to all those pieces. Here I'm using a circle and with some remeshing. Okay, so this way I'm adding some turbulent noise and also a ramp by using near point warp to actually to use this point as the ramp value, so it increases on the center and decreases on the side. Okay, so here's I'm subtracting the lengths of the position between center and the distance of the rest of the points, and I'm fitting that in certain value just to have enough room for manipulating my ramp values. And I'm also adding some noise just to add some randomness to the color. Okay, here I'm scattering some points so you see the result. Then also I'm adding normal and up vectors. So here are my normals. Here I'm adding noise to my normal. I have some random values here, and I'm converting all that into I'm converting my normals multiplied by the color, yes, and converting it to velocity channel. Okay, I made 2 popnet because I wanted, like, whenever bullet hits the glass, we'll see debris in front and on the back side of the glass as well, but they're mostly the same. Instead of here I'm using a negative normal, so kind of, if I just look on the velocity, you see. And here I'm using the same trick to just activate my particle in frame 15, all the points, add some spin with the color and some drag to the particles. Okay, then I merge them together. So, and here's the exploding debris particles. So I added some sphere with noise applied to it because those debris will be very small, and it's fine in this case, in my opinion. So here I am adding some random values to all the particles, color, and here are the debris. Okay, and then I merge them together. So here's my result, and then I'm caching it all together. So and if I look from my camera, okay, yeah, and this way I'm getting some decent result, and without using heavy dynamics, but only particles with some random attributes applied on it. Then some separation for the render process, but here with the bullet we can okay. So talking about Unreal, I simply exported every piece of simulation, like the unbroken glass, then broken part of glass, and the shield itself. I didn't import the debris because I used the lamping method, which is quite heavy for Unreal Engine. So it's better to use some. So I imported all those pieces, created a sequencer, and here's the camera, which I had to animate separately in Unreal Engine, which is not that complicated at all. And all those Alembic files are simply aligned together, and I played with some visibility of certain like the whole glass turns into a shattering glass. Okay, so and also you could use the path tracing method for rendering, which is also quite heavy in my opinion, or use the separated glass in post-processing method to apply some refraction or whatever you need, transparency. Okay, well, as you see, there's a possibility actually to play with the dynamic to your own advantage, and to be able to achieve certain results. Even as you see, there's as if slow motion is happening, but there's no slow motion actually applied to this effect. Well, this is all I want to say, and I hope you liked the lesson. And if you find the information is useful to you, please subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And thank you once again for your attention, and goodbye.